The first time I went to China, I think was in 1997, and we played in a snooker club out there. And yeah, it was very, very different to how China is now. As far as developing, I think they're doing a really, really good job. You know, they have some great academies there. So a lot of the Chinese players that come over from China, they start off in the academy in Beijing, and I've been there before, and it's maybe 20, 30 tables, and they're practicing. I think China are doing the best job out of anybody about producing young players. You know, I always said grassroots, you know, is the most important, you know, because obviously you see me now and you think, but how did I get to where I am? Was because the grassroots was good when I first started playing snooker. There was lots of opportunity, lots of competitions, lots of people for me to learn from. But that isn't so much the case now in the UK, but China have realised that, and they've made sure that the people, the youngsters, when they start to play, that they're in an environment where they can learn and try and get better. Xing, I look at Xing like he reminds me of my son, you know. I look at Xing and I just think, he reminds me of my little boy Ronnie. So I have this sort of like father sort of protection of him, you know. I want to see him do so well, you know. He's such a great talent, such a lovely boy. Yeah, I just love to see him, you know, to show the world how wonderful that he can play the game. He plays the game in the most beautiful style. So yeah, I have a really good connection with Xing, you know, and I feel quite protective of him in many ways, but he's his own man, so he has to be I always say, you're your own boss. You've got to become, you know, you are the boss. I'm here to help you, but if you tell me to be quiet, and I be quiet. Hard work is probably the most important thing, especially as you're developing. When you first started playing, you know, you have to be disciplined, you have to have commitment, you have to be very professional, and, you know, you have to work hard, you know. So yeah, I think, you know, you just have to love what you do. It's important to learn as much as you can. When you get a little bit older, maybe you have the experience, you don't need to practice as much. So years ago, I'd probably play for like 5-6 hours every day, 7 hours, sometimes 10 hours. Now I do maybe 2, maybe 3 maximum, because I'm a little bit older. I can't really improve as a player. I just need to just keep fresh, keep in a good place. So when tournaments come, my mind's good, my mind's clear. But when you're first starting out, obviously it's dedication, hard work, and as you get a little bit older, you have to kind of work out how to get the best out of yourself. I always monitor, I always make notes about my practice, and I have like a diary, because if you just keep it in your head, you can think 1 week, 2 weeks, you can't really keep track of it. So I like to write things down, and then I can look at a pattern. And I can go, okay, this worked. Oh, look at this didn't work. And then, you know, so I can kind of, pretty much I have my own template, my own formula, which works for me. Obviously that might be different for other players, but it's up to the individual to work out what will work for them. So yeah, it's important to, you know, to be very disciplined and detailed with everything you do, you know. I like the culture, you know. I come from an Italian background, my mum Italian, so we're very family orientated. We all sit around the table, we eat together, and it was very similar to Chinese culture, you know. We'd sit there all together sharing food, and, you know, it was nice. So I always felt comfortable being in that surroundings, you know. I like dim sum, so dim sum's nice, you know, and I know that's more sort of like Cantonese style food, so when we're in Shanghai, Guangzhou and places like that, then you obviously have more dim sum. But I also like Chengdu. I like to have hot pot. So when I'm in Sheffield, I go to eat a lot with the Xing, Ding Junhui, and we go to this restaurant and we have hot pot. So I really like that as well. So, and I love spicy food. you've got the Szechuan style. You know, I like all types of food that I've had in China, really. I love the fans, the snooker fans in China. You know, they've supported me unbelievably well from the very first time I went to China. They've seen me make a lot of 147s, and you know, it's a bit like, you know, other big sporting stars from other sports. You know, maybe, you know, you have Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, you have Federer, Nadal, and in snooker you have me, Stephen Hendry, you know, John Higgins, and people like that. I just want to thank all the Chinese snooker fans for supporting me, supporting snooker, and I can't wait to get back out there as soon as I can.